Hi, everybody. Make yourselves comfortable. Any other questions? Yes. Both. The answer is both. Very often, if you're going to a different place, it's because your consciousness deep within you wants to go to that place. So usually that's from deep within you that you make that switch. So I'd go. But if it's some kind of avoidance thing going on, and I'm never able to stay there, then I would just practice staying there in that particular one. But usually one thing leads to another in the way your energy moves. So you let it. Very often, let's say you're meditating deeply in the heart. If you meditate there really deeply, one day you're going to say, what am I doing up here? Because very often you do so well in one chakra, it leads to a different plane of consciousness, and you should go with it. Very often it's easier for people to stay in the heart. But when they get advanced, it'll just go up here. And you say, what am I doing up here? And it's fun, we're very versatile. And when we're meditating, we are ad-libbing. Our consciousness is moving in beautiful ways. Homeward, it's going to, here we are, we're all stranded out here in our mind and in our sense of self and in our body and our senses. We're stranded out here. We don't know about this inner self. But as you do yoga, you get homeward bound. You discover your core being, and you get to visit and experience there. And you think, this is fantastic. You can have fantastic experiences inside the dirt, beyond belief, and they're utterly beautiful and wondrous. They're heavenly. And so as you shed tension and turbulence and aren't thinking so hard all the time or emoting so deeply all the time, you go home to a very wonderful state of consciousness. And we're all meant to have it, but we're preoccupied out here. We're too busy, or we're too blocked to go to a natural place that everybody has, that everybody could know if they would give themselves a chance. Yogis do. Yogis say, I want to go home. And they go. But they, as a result of that, first you visit your soul, your Atman, your inner self, you visit. I had a wonderful meditation that was so sweet and so glorious, and I saw these beautiful lights or whatever. And then you go there from time to time, and you can't make it happen, and you try, and you can't make it happen. Then gradually it happens daily, that you're having a sublime experience. So you visit this sublime experience, and it's wonderful, and you end up coming out of it, and you wish you didn't, but it's just not in your control to stay there. So at first you visit, and then down the road you move in, you live there, you center there, you live from there. And that's what yogis call enlightenment. Enlightenment is just experiencing your own inner self and centering there. Jimbo, good luck with that. That's it? Well, good. Remember, I gave you a chance to ask questions. I did. Last thing. Anybody else want? Yes, please. You can't, I wish you could, but we can't see spirit with our physical eyes. We need spiritual sight. But the more you meditate, especially the more you meditate on the third eye, the more your eyes get attuned to being able to see spirit. You see auras around people, energy fields around people. You see gradually spirit everywhere. The best times to see spirit are sunrise, and best times to quote, S-E-E in quotes. Best times for that, sunrise and sunset, just with calm eyes. And just wander a bit, and you might just see this light coming out of everything. I did, I couldn't do it at first, but down the road, as you practice, you get spiritual sight, and then you see the spiritual component in everybody and in everything. And that is a glorious thing to be able to do. It's just wonderful. We all have the ability, it's just this faculty of spiritual sight, pretty hard to develop. But if you put the time in, candle meditation, just looking at a candle every day and focusing from your third eye for a few minutes, don't fatigue your eyes, but just kind of calmly look. And if you do it every day, then this center, which has this capacity, will begin to open and awaken, We're calling it the third eye, and it sees things spiritually. This sees in time and space in the physical world, and this can ultimately show you another way of experiencing life. You get to see spirit, which is really amazing that we have this ability too. We have so many abilities that we don't use or know about quite often. Anything else? This may be your only chance. Yes.
What about mantra?
What about mantra? Well, mantra is marvelous. It helps rescue your mind so you can experience your soul, your inner self. Mantra goes into, your mind's thinking 1,000 things, or just 10. And you do the mantra, and your awareness can gather away from those 10 other things and just eventually be still on the mantra. And it stays there. And then the mantra, when you are deeply focused, the words fade away, and it's just kind of a surge of energy. And then that surge of energy takes you to your inner self, and also to spiritual awareness. That's what they're for. But some people just want to stay with the word. As long as you're, let's say it's a word or a phrase, as long as you're in the word or phrase, where are you? You're in your mind, and you're not in your soul awareness. Your mantra has to disappear or dissolve or let go. It has to take you beyond thought. As long as you have a word, you're thinking. So it takes you beyond the word to a spiritual experience. That's the idea of the mantra. There, we've done it. That was our Q&A. Now, move along. If I find time, I'll give you a chance. But we're going to do a lot of things tonight, too. Well, last week, how to use various wonderful practices of yoga and different planes of consciousness that you've got inside you, how to use those to do some self-transformation, how to make yourself and your life better, and how to make your understanding of life better, and how to make your functioning in life better. So we did that last week, and so that's a wonderful thing to know and do. And as you practice yoga, you'll find you get better and better at these things. But the next one is, what about when you want to help other people? Are there things yogically you can do for other people? And situations in the world, problems in the world. We're trying to show you that yoga is not only wonderful, it's very useful, especially in terms of helping you with your life. We have life situations that very often we feel stuck in, that aren't positive, that aren't going anywhere, that aren't that wonderful. And maybe we feel even imprisoned in some difficult circumstances and situations. We're not meant to just suffer there. We're here as human beings. We're designed to transform things, to change them around, to take this particular situation and make it a better one. With situations and circumstances and the way we think, the way we feel, and the way our habits operate in our lives. Very often we have habits that keep us from thinking clearly or succeeding. So while it is hard to change circumstances, well, it may be, maybe it's not. Well, it may be hard to change circumstances or something in yourself. There is a power base you've got to transform things. You have the capacity to transform both inside you and out there in the world regarding your situations at work and in your neighborhood. And there are all kinds of wonderful things you can do to help people at a distant place who are suffering. You see it on the TV, you hear about it, you read about it. There are things you can do to be of help. While it's difficult to change your habits and situation and thoughts, it's still very doable if you get to that place that we were talking about. You can reset things and be re-empowered and attain a higher wisdom if you practice this idea of simple, clear being. You want to just free yourself of thoughts for a little while, but just be, and of feelings and of sensations. Just practice going into being. That's all you're aware of, just being. Have you succeeded? How many of you have experienced, as we've been working on this, or perhaps earlier in your life, just sitting there and having an experience of being? How many? Okay, well, look at your neighbors. There are a lot of them that can do it, so you got to do it too. Join the party. Join the being party. Okay. The thought is, as transformers, we are designed to transform things. What is it like to get to this place of being? I'm just going to recap a little. I said the first week and then the second week. First week, we talked about you can just roll out your mat, shed the tension, then do some breathing practice, meditate, and just get your mind nice and clear and experience being. That's what happens, hopefully, every time you meditate, or every time you just roll out your mat and do your yoga routine, you get to a place of just being, this clarity of being. That's your power base. That situation where you're in being gives you new energy and new consciousness with which to change things. So if you can just do your regular routine, the normal routine, postures, meditation, you can experience more easily being. That's the long way round. That's the normal way round. And if you have to do it that way, it's worth it. Go to this state of being. But if you could just sit down and be in a state of being, you're just aware of being, you're not aware of thoughts, you're not aware of sensations, you're just being. Start there. That's the place that will just empower you to make changes. You can go back to being. Otherwise, you stay in your habits, you stay in your limited flows of thought, and you don't go high. And so you don't transform things. You got to get to this marvelous place of being. Now, yogis, when they meditate, they have a wonderful time, and hopefully they get to being. When they finish meditating, they practice transforming things here and there. In fact, you could keep a book of situations you'd like to change. Situations you see on the news, situations, are happening in the neighborhood or some other town nearby. You could just, whatever you want to do as a concerned person, you can just make note of it and work on it. Anything you want, you can just say, I'm going to work on it. Write it down and try it. Now, there are some people I'd like to mention. Himalayan yogis. There are people living in the Himalayas who practice yoga, and every morning early, they're sending out their particular yoga practices to help humanity every morning. And if you'd like to join, you're welcome to. I can't give you their address. Just wander in the Himalayas, they'll find you. It's just wonderful. There are yogis every day meditating to help humanity, things they're concerned about. If you'd like to join in, every day at noon for 5 minutes, we pray for the world, for humanity. We spend 5 minutes at noon, and we just think of problems that come to our mind, suffering that comes to our mind. You can pick anything that arouses love in you, or compassion in you, or something you have an insight about. You just go into this place of being, and you can do some of the practices we're going to do tonight. If you want a project, you could be helping the world every day in consciousness, and you should also write it down so you can notice as the situation goes by. Sometimes it's months. You see very often important changes. Sometimes you don't see a change and it's sad, but you keep working on it and you try to figure out, how can I work on this better and better? So they're pretty special, these yogis, but we have some here, and you might be one of them. 5 minutes a day at noon, focusing on this. Or every time you meditate, after you're nice and centered, just practice one of these beautiful practices that we're going to do tonight. The first one is kind of simple. You can say, well, isn't that just prayer? And the answer is yes, you can think of it as prayer. There was a great metaphysician named Ernest Holmes. And when he was a young man, he said, why do some people's prayers work really well and others, they don't work at all? Why is that? So he studied prayer, trying to figure out why some prayer works and some prayer doesn't seem to work. He is a founder of religious science, which is really brilliant. But he studied Christian science also for a couple of years at the beginning of his career. So he was just fascinated by why does some prayer work and other prayer not work. And he concluded some things that are known to yogis too. If you want to be a transformer, if you want the enjoyment of seeing transformational things happen here and there around the world, there are some important principles. One is when you pray before something, before creation getting better, don't stop that blinkety blank. It doesn't deserve to whatever, You don't pray negatively. You don't pray for vengeance, for somebody to be held back or to learn their lesson. A friend of mine, Swami Kriyananda, he said, I'll never do it again, but somebody offended him greatly, and Kriyananda said, Lord, teach him a lesson. And he had a car crash and broke almost every bone in his body. I would not do that again. The idea is a firm life, like what is it you would like to see? Not, I'm going to zap people with vengeance and righteous indignation. Just what would you like to see happen? What is the good thing you'd like to see? Oh, everybody's in peace. Everybody is free from trouble and worry. That's a positive thing. Pray positively. Think of the universe expressing more fully and freely and beautifully and more people being happy and fulfilled, rather than the villain gets his just desserts. Okay, that's one. And the next one, the next principle is, I'm a little nothing before this vast cosmic universe. And I'm asking in my frail, ant-like manner the following. That's feeble prayer. And he observed it genuinely doesn't work. You have to identify yourself as related to the infinite consciousness, the Lord of your heart. You have to sense this marvelous identification. I am one of your conscious creations. Here I am with my needs and my consciousness and this life that's so precious that you've given me. From this relationship I have with you, I am related to you. I'm a spiritual being. You are the infinite spirit. I am spirit. I'm a spiritual being too. Some kind of sense of relationship in order for prayer to be powerful. And the third one is you don't use will or coercion. I want this so bad, I'm going to keep after you until you give it to me. And you're so mean and tight-fisted, you won't give it to me, but I'm going to prevent. That's the wrong idea. It won't work. If you're going to do transformation, you say something like, I want to be an instrument. I want to be your partner in spirit moving and changing this situation. I want to be an instrument through which spirit can flow, your energy, your consciousness, O infinite one, can manifest through me and through my perspective and through my connection with you. Please move and express and manifest. Not, I want this or I need this, or surely you see, you got to do this. No. Those three principles, very yogic. Yogananda talked about them a lot too. So, that said, we'll do a simple one, and please in mind, because they're very fundamental to transformation. You want to see things transform, you got to give them a chance. You got to feel that you're an instrument through whom this happens, or you're permitting it to happen. You're allowing it to happen. You're not making it happen. You're not generating it. You're an instrument of it, and it is expressing, and you're open to that. You and your partner, the infinite consciousness, are doing a work together. So a simple transformation would be to chant Om until you sense oneness or being to a degree. The word Om is a great harmonizing word that helps you to sense some degree of peace, some degree of oneness. Let's just chant Om a couple times. Let's just, tell you what, we're going to do a fun sound. I'm going to start us chanting Om, then try to stay on the same note. And whenever you want, stop, inhale, and chant Om. And we'll just keep the word Om going a while. The goal in chanting Om is just to feel this oneness or to help us sense being better. Okay? So, I'm going to do the simple pronunciation of Om. Well, why not do the whole thing? Okay. Start at the back of the throat, you go, and the takes about a third the length of the chant, of each chant. The is to get softer and softer and fade into infinity. So I'll chant it for you once, and just notice the atmosphere tends to get beautiful. So you're just listening now, and I'm chanting Om. The goal is just using the word Om to get into this marvelous condition of being a transformer. Notice the atmosphere. It just creates harmony. Now you're going to do it once with me, and we're going to see if we get it squared away. Inhale. Excellent. Do you have any questions? And if you feel like you're not getting it right, it's just you move through the vocal apparatus from down here all the way through the mouth to the lips, and then it fades off into infinite space. Okay. We're now going to just have a period of a few minutes where we strive to sense being, we strive to sense oneness, and we're trying to create a condition that enables us to better connect with the infinite. You feel free whenever you want to take a breath, you just start again. We're going to be independent operators here. Here we go. Enjoy the beautiful sound of Om as everybody individually sings it at each person's tempo and rhythm. Inhale. Om. Beautiful atmosphere. So just chanting the word Om once or several times, very helpful to take you to this state of being. The word Om is one of the basic mantras too. What we do in this simple form, which a lot of yogis do, is you get the Om going until you're feeling no disturbance. You're feeling peace, you're feeling well-being. Then you say a prayer. Dear Lord, whatever the Lord is to, the Lord of your heart, dear Lord, may your love and will manifest in the life of, fill in the blank, name the person, or may your love and will manifest in the situation in Syria, or specifically one town there, or in the health of this person at home. So you get the sense of being going as best you can. Then you just ask that the infinite love and will move and express in the life of a particular person or a situation or whatever gives you a rise of compassion, or whatever involves suffering. People are busy suffering. Where there's suffering, you do this particular practice. And when you have done it, then you resume chanting Om. and strive to sense being and being at one with the universe as one. And you let go of the prayer. You just say it clearly and then resume chanting Om. Resume this state of being as clearly as you can. Let's say you're still in your mind. It's okay. You had to come to your mind to say that line. I recommend, may your love and will manifest in the life of this person, because there's a loving, powerful will here trying to keep everybody in a good space, good time, having a good life. You don't have to think the will is going to be a negative thing. The will is going to be very positive and uplifting and upbuilding. It's going to be appropriate to the need. You'll find. If you start doing this, you'll notice this simple thing is a marvelous thing to know and do, because it involves you being more aligned, more of an instrument, and more positive. You're an influence for good in this world. So, and you're not trying to settle scores. Okay? So, that said, I'd like you to think of what you're going to do. We're going to do 2 or 3 of these. Is there a person you want to focus on? And if you feel that this person doesn't wish this to happen, if you feel resistance, then go on to something else. Do it for someone else. Sometimes you feel a resistance there, and you just respect their privacy. But almost always they want it really bad, and it helps a lot, almost always, like more than 99% of the time. Okay, so with feeling, with attention, we do it a while, then we say that line. Address the Lord of your heart, dear Lord, or dear God, or dear Spirit, or infinite, dear infinite one, whatever you like. The Lord of your heart, whoever that is, whatever name that is, we're referring to the same thing. We're going to be chanting Om until we get this sense of oneness or wellness. Then we say it clearly. Then you get the attitude of letting it go into manifestation as you resume chanting Om and striving to feel this beautiful sense of being. Clear? Okay, I'll give you 8 minutes to send out as many prayers in this manner as you like. You can do a nice bunch of prayers. And it's a transformation exercise. You could call it that too if you don't. I don't want to pray. Okay, do a transformation exercise. Like Yogananda said, put a sign on your door, saint at work. It's a saint at work, yes. You can, very often at home, you'll have a list and you'll do one on each. But we're trying to get into it so deeply that you do as many as you need to get a greater sense of oneness and wholeness, and then you do it. And then you chant, once you've said it, you release it as you chant Om again. So you might only get 1 or 2 done tonight, or you might get 100, I don't know, or a dozen. Here we go. Is that clear? Okay. Let's change the world a bit right now by tuning in with the infinite consciousness and helping through our partnership with the infinite consciousness. Things get changed. Things get improved. Suffering is diminished. Life is enriched. Wisdom happens. Peace happens. Away we go. Om. Very good. Bring your awareness back here as if you can, you blissful ones. So that's a simple way to help the world, to help anybody, to help humanity, to help countries. It's a very lovely way to tune into the infinite and have it expressed somewhere, somewhere. And that alone, if you just start writing it down on this day, have the date, and just start working on a particular project, you'll see things change quite often. I've been blessed to see all kinds of people heal, or situations become beautiful, or wisdom happen, or some kind of something that makes you feel wonderful happen. And at other times, there's the Mideast, which we really got to work on. There's the Mideast. So don't give up on the Mideast. Do what you can every day. Okay, so that's a beautiful, powerful, general way to do it. And it's so powerful considering how simple it is. Remember the being thing. You chant Om till you have this beautiful sense of harmony. Then you articulate that prayer for that person or situation. Then you go back to this sense of Om and just strive to let go of the prayer and abide in the sense of being connected with this energy that's everywhere, connected with life.